I have a question for you about Jalen Brunson being your best player, though. You're talking about 1A,
Yeah.
1B, all the stuff.
I
Can you
pose this. Go ahead, finish your question
Well, my
first.
question to you, having played, because you were such a two-way player, which is a hysterical term to me, by the way, in basketball, because isn't everyone supposed to be a two-way player? But anyway, to have a guy who just, not because of his heart, not because he doesn't try, but because of the size he is, who can never be anything but average defensively and often something of a liability. Can you have that be your best player?
So I posed
and win
this
a title?
question. That was my thing. Can he be your best player and win a title? I think he's shown at times he's been the most unguardable guy in the playoffs. He's been incredible. They can throw different defenses at him. He's still doing what he does. But with that load, and then you look at everything that makes him great offensively, his pace, playing off 2 feet, his IQ, all that, he doesn't have any of those natural attributes as like the normal superstars we think that are carrying teams that can go ahead and flip around and lock in on the other side. So when you look at him on defense, you look at Cat on defense, someone who else scores the ball really well but doesn't necessarily play defense. As I said earlier, Bridges hasn't necessarily locked down as we're accustomed to. Maybe he's a little tired.
He's also only one guy.
Right.
You kind of would need a team of Bridges.
You need at least 2 guys and maybe 1 guy off the bench, and then a team that plays team defense. We're going to get to OKC because I'm so in love with the way they're just on a string. Can Brunson be that guy? And I mean, we're seeing it right now, right? Like Jokic said, like last series, if we could have won, we would have won. We didn't. Right. You know what I mean? So I'm still interested and I don't want this to be a knock on because I think he's been absolutely incredible in these playoffs. But that was my question a while ago. Can he be the guy on your team and help and you guys win a championship with that? So we're gonna have to see.
And it's hard too because the guy implies that like he's not tough enough, he's not good enough, he doesn't have enough swag. Like he's got all of that.
Yes.
He can be the guy in that way.
Yes.
But he's only as tall as he is tall. And so either you need to have such defensive stalwart presence around him.
Yes.
And I don't know if the Knicks have that. Nope. I don't know if it's possible to build a team like that in this era.
Yeah.
Right? Where if that is your best player and he's worthy in every other sense that he's just not four inches taller.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know.
I think like if we're just hypotheticals real quick, you throw him on the Oklahoma City roster with the depth of defense they have, and you can hide him.
But then is he
from
the
that
guy?
stamp? I mean, it's a whole nother conversation. I still think there's nothing you can do with him on the offensive end.
Is he your? If you threw him on OKC, are you putting him instead of Shea?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I was if I was removing Shea and putting him in there somewhere you can hide because there's so much great defense and talent on that team.
Okay.
But I mean, I guess it's this is something we're gonna have to see. To your point, even if they get tonight, do we see them still getting another 2 out of 3? And I just don't. But one thing is going to be a big hit for Indiana if it happens tonight is Nesmith is questionable.
Yeah,
this guy is nearly at 17 points a game, 50 from the field, and 73% from the 3-point line. He was single-handedly went nuts.
Game 1.
At the end of game 1. He's been the primary defender on Brunson, although Brunson, that 34 game, nothing has been easy. Absolutely nothing, but he makes him work for everything. And in good offense is always, or great offense is always going to beat good defense. You know what I mean? I ran into that in my, like, I just made them work, but they still got numbers. So he's definitely making him do his thing. So if they lost him, that could be big depending on how long. But again, they do have, that's the one thing you keep. And I have to say this with all due respect, like they're bringing guys off the bench that I haven't heard of, but they're out there doing their thing. Like they're out there playing well. Carlisle has those guys ready. So we shall see. One thing I'm happy about is Big John Halliburton.
Yes.
You got reinstated before I did.
Yeah, baby.
Congratulations, man. He gets to be in the building tonight, game 4.
I'm so happy about this.
I really want to sit and talk to him because I've talked to people around him and he's just so proud to be a fucking dad.
Yeah, man.
And a black dad with all the narratives and stigmas that have been in the past, but he's just happy to be out there. They showed edits of him at a bar still tripping when he couldn't go to the game and he was doing his thing.
Love it.
So I absolutely, again, as a passionate dad, John, we need to have a beer together. But happy he'll be back in the building. He missed 8 games. It's crazy we're even talking about it like he's a player. He missed 8 games because of the Giannis shit back on April 29th, but he will be back in the building. We saw our boy Stack at game. Go ahead.
Well, I want to say one more thing about John.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, I'm thrilled. I've been saying for the last week or two, like, okay, we have gotten to the point where the punishment has outweighed the crime, right?
Yes.
your son is doing things that literally, by the way, no human has ever done in the game of basketball, and certainly Tyrese has never done. And it's not an insult to say he might not ever do it again. There's a lot of time and place, and I mean, it's literally never happened before. So the idea that he'd have to miss all of that, again, punishment outweigh the crime. To me, we need to be creative about thinking about how we make these decisions for people.
Yes.
Because the argument that I've gotten thrown back to me over this last week that I've said, come on, let him back in the building is, okay, but what he did was so out of pocket. And the answer is yes, but there are other ways to say you can't do this. And I believe they're going to have him in a suite for the next rest of the way.
Keep your ass
and
up
that
top.
is the way to say you can't do this.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, to the player participation issue, to tie it into the awards voting.
Yes.
That's bullshit to me.
Yeah,
yes, there's other ways you can say you can't do this. That doesn't have to be the way.
Right.
Keeping John out of the building does not have to be the way you say you can't do this. I'm thrilled he's back.
Uncharted territories with the shit John did on the court. But again, I'm glad he's back.
Well, he's lucky he rolled up on Giannis and not you.
Man, that's what I said. We were having a conversation. You would pop that shit in front of someone else, you might have got smacked. But I'm glad it didn't have to go there. It didn't have to go there.
I think 80% of the guys in the league.
Yeah, it didn't have to go there. But he's back tonight, so I know Tyrese and the rest of the Indiana can appreciate that.